Welcome back, guys. So here we are on part 2 of how to start a blog 2023. In this tutorial, we're going to learn how to create a custom footer for your blog using custom HTML and CSS, making this a bit more of an intermediate tutorial. These HTML, CSS skills combined with WordPress will let you create almost any feature on your blog that you see around the web on other blogs. We're also going to take our skills to the sidebar and set up an Aweber email marketing form so that you can collect people's email addresses right from your blog or from any post or page, send them an ebook automatically and track stats on those subscribers, and of course, send them newsletters all for free. And we're going to learn how to set up SEMRush Pro with a very unique 14-day free trial. SEMRush is where you learn if your blog has keywords, which keywords to focus on in blog posts so that your blog posts do better than your competitors' blog posts. So with that said, let's jump right in. We got a lot to cover. And of course, if you haven't learned how to start a blog yet, for beginners, all the technical web design stuff is in part 1 of this tutorial. So jump right over there and get your blog set up quickly. In about a half an hour is about how long I've heard it takes people. And I'll leave you the link for how to start a blog part 1 in the description below the video. Remember, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button so you stay in touch with our latest WordPress advice. We are here to help you build a successful, profitable blog. And if you have any questions about what we're talking about, the setup, or even just a tiny little part of WordPress that you want to build, put that in the comments below on YouTube and post comment, and I'll get back to you or have a real person from our community get back to you. Okay, let's jump right in. Now that the header in our blog is looking awesome and the body is looking cool and the sidebar is complete except for that ad that should show up soon, let's go ahead and work on our footer. So in the footer, we're going to have our logo, a little blurb about us, and why not a video? And to edit the footer, we can go back to Customize, our favorite. Now let's go to the site identity, and we can make sure that we're going to display the tagline and title in the footer. And we're going to display the logo, so we don't want to disable it. Let's add a new footer logo though, and get our big one that we made and choose that image. And publish. All right, now let's go back and let's head to widgets. And we can see our theme doesn't have a footer widget area, we just have a main sidebar widget area. That's not going to stop us though, because we can always go to the theme file editor. Click I understand, and in this area we can check out the theme footer. Alright, so here's where we can actually make stuff come to life in the footer just with our own knowledge of HTML and CSS, or if you don't have that knowledge yet, that's where I come in. For starters, every widget you see inside the footer, or text or image, whatever, will be located inside the footer ID and the close footer right here. So if I write some new stuff like, hey, I'm writing new stuff, and update the file, we'll see I'm writing new stuff up here. So it's inside the footer, but it's not inside the copyright area, which is below the footer. Alright, so why don't I teach you how to build a custom footer already. We can come back here, and where I'm writing new stuff, let's create a div, which is the width of the entire footer. Div style equals width 800 pixels, semicolon, and close the alligator outside the quotation mark, and that will give you a closing div as well, right here. At the same time, I'm going to write out a margin of 0 auto after the width of our div, which will give us a floating in the middle div. So the margin 0 auto will just push everything we put in this div, which is a block in the middle of the screen, to the middle of the screen, and the border on the outside will be whatever is left after 800 pixels. And if it doesn't make sense quite yet, bear with me, I'll show you everything. You'll see how everything works. Okay, now we're gonna write a div with style equals something like width 300 pixels, and that has to float to the left. And close the alligator, and you'll get another div. And then beneath that, we have to write a div style equals width, again, something like 300 pixels, which is gonna be floated, you guessed it, to the right, semicolon, and close alligator. And within these two divs, we can put some footer content. You just don't want the width combined of these two divs to be more than the total width. Okay, now let's start creating. So if we get a video going, maybe we're on YouTube, and you look up how to start a blog, Greg Narayan, we might want to feature our old video here just so anyone that missed the tips from last year and is watching this video on our new demo blog can have a seamless experience and jump back a year. So we can grab our old video. Sorry again about those puppies running around in the fresh snow out there. And we're going to go ahead and share it. And we're going to do the embed code because that's what WordPress HTML likes. So just click on the embed and copy it. Now come back to your theme editor and paste that on the left div. All right, now on the right div, let's put a little advertisement for our blogging guides, or maybe you do guides on cooking or taxes or gardening or music. It helps to make your own ads that represent your own products. So back in Dear Blogger, I'm just gonna go ahead and download our Blogger's Blueprint because that's an awesome list of tools every blogger needs. And if it's only seen on Dear Blogger, then only the people that visit Dear Blogger are gonna access those tools. And for me, that's just not enough. Let's save that image as and save it. So to actually get this image onto a different blog in WordPress, you'll need this skill. Once you run multiple blogs, you're gonna wanna go to New Post and go ahead and add media. We're gonna add in that little blueprint image. Keep it a full size and alignment doesn't matter at all, but none is good. Let's add a custom URL so that we're able to link to the guide itself. And for now, we can just put google.com as a placeholder and insert into post. What that does is creates a perfect little HTML munch right here that you can copy. And we can bring that back to WordPress on our other blog where we're working. Let's paste that in the div. And beautiful. Lastly, I'm going to give our floated divs a border here so we know how much space they take up. We're going to go 1 pic solid gray. And for any border, you do need the width, the type, and the color. And let's update it and see what we made. Okay. Refreshing our site, it could look a little crazy. We're going to go down and we can see we have a video and an image, but they're not really floated how we want. So what happened? Well, I can tell you. First off, we can officially get rid of the hey, I'm writing new stuff because that's beneath everything. Secondly, the iframe for the video has some characteristics we don't love right now. The height's too big. Because if the height of our image ad is 177, we don't want the height of the video to be any more than that. And let's update it and refresh. Okay, so it's looking better now. Looks like our image has a little bit of margin on it. So let's go ahead and make the style of the image margin padding none. Style equals margin 0, padding 0. And you can just put that right before the width code. Update. And that'll condense our image nice and tight next to the video. So you're really learning some custom HTML and CSS here. Next we can go back and we can just space them a little better. So right now they're each a width of 300 and they're sort of forced into the middle of the screen. But if we make the width of the video float 400 and the width of the image float 400, and also if we go ahead and take our image and put it inside the correct div on the bottom here, which is floated to the right, that should definitely help. Now let's refresh. And we can see they're stacked too much. Okay, so I don't want it quite 400. Let's go with just 3 and update. And cool, and if you're getting things floating on top of other things, we have to go back to our code here, and right before the last div, just write out a div class equals clearfix, like that. And close that off with a div, just an empty clearfix. What that does is tells WordPress and Google, hey, we're done floating here. Let's not have anything float on top of it. Okay, and as you can see, we've created our own little custom footer space. Next, I want to show you how to create a button in WordPress that you could put in your footer or in your sidebar or maybe even your header to direct people to some kind of call to action. To get the button going, let's go back to where we're editing our footer, and we're just going to create it from scratch in this blank HTML window so you know exactly how it works. So the first thing I want to try is actually just get rid of the margin auto. I'm just going to hit Command or Control X to cut it in case I want to put it back in. And let's see if the widgets float to the left. Let's delete that cache so we see all the right edits and refresh. All right, and we can see without margin 0 auto, the widgets want to float all the way to the left because the footer itself is all the way across the screen. It's not condensed in the middle. So that's not going to work. We're going to want our footer items centered just like a typical HTML and CSS website would have. To add our button, let's go ahead and give ourselves another div. So let's create another div after the video here. And to do that, we can just copy the entire video div, paste that down beneath it, immediately beneath it, and then we can just delete the video iframe. So we have a fresh new div munch. We're going to want the width to be less than 300 though, because our total width is just 800 pixels, and that should do it. So let's go ahead and write out some button HTML, and I'll show you how to make a button from scratch in WordPress. It's going to be super fun. Okay, the first thing you need is some text that goes inside the button, like sign up today. And then just for good measures, we could have an emoji. So I'm going to hit Command Control Spacebar, and we're going to just go with a finger pointing. And how about we just do our favorite coffee cup because that's branded to us. All right, we have our anchor text for the link. It's not much, but it's a start. Now we just need to put a link around that text. So we can open the alligator. ahref equals is just the standard start for an HTML link. Then you'll do 2 quotation marks where you're gonna have the, okay, and it looks like WordPress is getting all feisty with our emoji here. So we got to get rid of the emoji for now. Okay, when you close the link ahref, it'll give you the closing A, and we just want that outside of the text over here because that puts the text inside the link. Now there's 2 ways to style a button in WordPress. We can go with a style and put the style right inside the link, like the color of the button and the width of it, or you can do a class and then you'll have the class equals button link or something like that. Close it, and then you can refer to that button link in a separate CSS style sheet, like our additional CSS window. But in this case, because we're writing so much CSS inline, let's just write it in right here. So I'm going to go with a style equals, nothing too fancy, margin, let's do 5 pixels on the top, 10 pixels on the right, 5 pixels on the bottom, and 10 pixels on the left. And the way margin shorthand works when you have 4 margins like that is it starts at the top of the clock, then goes to the right, and then the bottom, and then the left of the clock. Okay, semicolon. We're going to want a border also of 1 pixel solid CCC, and for fun, let's make it dashed. There's a lot of different types of borders you can do. Just look them up in Google for border CSS. We're also going to have a color. Might need to be a background color, I forget, of, how about just orange, actionable color, although you can use a hex. And now we'll close off the quotes. All right, and close off. And you don't need a bracket, you can just put that all inside one different style with the quotes covering it all. Okay, awesome, now we need a link here, so why don't we link to one of the pages on our blog, like Get in Touch. We're going to copy the link address for Get in Touch, come back here and paste in the link in between the quotation marks where the ahref is. All right, and sometimes we go over a quote, so don't paste over a quotation mark. And I'm feeling pretty good. Let's go ahead and update and see how it looks. As you can tell in WordPress, it's a lot of trial and error, refreshing, saving, going back, editing until you get it right. Okay, so at the bottom, things are just looking nuts now. What did we do? And we probably just forgot a div. So if you don't close off one of the divs, thankfully WordPress writes it up for us, saves a little time, then everything will just start floating on top of the next thing and the next thing. The div is what says, hey, my space is done. Let's move on to the next object and let's not float everything on top of each other. So one little tag can do all that, and you're really going to drive yourself nuts if you forget one. So just try to be on top of your divs. Okay, so there's our button. Doesn't look like much right now, but we can edit it a little more. It looks like the color is on the link text, so we need to make that a background color for starters and update it. What if we change the margin to padding? What happens then? Cool, that'll actually fill up some space around the text. Let's give it a little more width. How about 150? And then let's give it the text align of center. All right, things are looking a little more normal. If you need any help from Google, you can always ask, like, hey Google, how do I do button background color CSS? And they'll show you an example from W3 schools. We can open that up. And we can see an example of a button down here. When we try it ourselves, it'll open the button in a new window. And we can see what's working. So what I'm going to do here is actually borrow some CSS from W3 because that's what it's meant to do, help us learn CSS by trial and error. But we don't want to copy all that because then we'll get into copy pasta. Let's just go ahead and grab the background color. And also how there's no border. Let's do border none. And also I want the display inline block. That looks cool. And update it. All right, now let's refresh our button. Okay, things are changing a little here. We're still not really sure like why there's this gray line over here, but that must be something beneath the button. What is that? And what that is actually the border on the div itself. We don't want an unnecessary border just chilling in the div. So let's get rid of that, and now we're gonna look a lot better with our button. Okay, so we have a button functioning now, and it actually works to click. Kind of cool. And you can click on anywhere on the button. So you want to make sure you can click on the non-text space too, and the button will work. Yep, we get the Super Mario hand. But it's not a pretty button yet, and we need to make it prettier so it stands out. And I can say that too, because we created this button. It's our button to work on. And no one else is going to take offense. So let's go back and we're going to make the padding more. And if you just want to do two shorthands, the first one you can do is top bottom and the second one is left right. All right, we can also give it the color of white. So the link color will be standing out a little bit, and the hex for white is just FFF. And we can give it a border radius, border dash radius of something like 30 pixels to round the edges. Update file, and looking better. That's more like a button. Okay, so last but not least, I just want to center the button. So we can remove the button margin, and one thing you might realize is if you can't center an item, you might as well just have it on the right or left of your site so it looks centered and it's not like dead center in the middle of your page where people can see anything that's slightly off, any discrepancies. So in our case, we can go ahead and portage this whole div to beneath, in other words, to the far right in our footer. Beautiful. And now I'm going to add a little margin around the button. So let's go with like 20 pixels all around. And update. And refresh. All right, and a little mistake, because this div is still floating to the left, it falls in line after our first left div. So why don't we change them all to left and see what happens. Great, so if all the divs are left, they'll all float one after the other. And we did it. I just need to get rid of that pesky border on the second div here. And it's also a little bit too much of that margin. That's just too much. So let's go with just like margin left 10 pixels and update it. And awesome. So now guys, you know how to create a custom button in WordPress. And last but not least, we just need a little space in between our footer widgets that we made. So you can do that with a little margin on the divs themselves, like margin right 20 pixels, margin right 20 pixels, and margin right 20 pixels. And we also gave ourselves another 100 pixels width on the whole footer because why not? We deserve it. Now you might be wondering if with your newfound skills to create a custom button and to create a custom advertisement after you start a blog, can you go ahead and put those things in the header where people will see them more and they'll get more clicks? The answer is yes. Our theme comes with 2 search bars and we really only need one in the standard sidebar location. So this search bar is an ideal one to replace with a custom advertisement. Let's go to your header area in your appearance theme file editor, header.php. And now we can find where that search bar exists. So one way I like to do this is to open the site in a new tab, and we're gonna right click inside the search box, and it's gonna tell us a little bit about that search box. So it's div class equals search dash box. And that means we're in the header here, and I know the search box is somewhere. I can do a command find for search dash box. If you don't find your search box, we might be in a slightly incorrect place. All right guys, and it looks like we found our search box inside, of course, searchform.php. Now let's see if we can't edit this search box. So instead of the search box, we can show some advertisement because people don't need to search twice and they really do need to view your ads and click them. What am I doing? I'm trying to search for some code now. I'm just going to inspect that again and make sure, yep, div class search box and div class search box. Great, just when we thought we were down and out. Let's try the test text here, update, refresh, and we have some test text getting in the way. That looks kind of funny. The keyword for the search is like outside the search box. It's like you search here and then it gets searched inside the box, but it's outside the box. Goofy. So let's go ahead and change what we have inside the div class search box. Instead of this beautiful PHP they wrote out starting with input, I'm going to actually take that and put that into a blank text file. Really great for saving your code and working on code before it's ready. And now I want to go ahead and put in some different piece of imagery, something like an ad. PicMonkey is the best for making custom ads. All you do is just open it up, create new, hit blank canvas, and then you can choose how big it is. Okay, let's create a standard size image here, something like 250 by 100 by 100 pixels should do it, and make it. All right, we can plus a little bit just so our image is bigger. We're gonna give our image a background color in a minute, but for now I just want a graphic. And I'd imagine I'd have plenty of HostGator logos on our desktop because we've been recommending them happily for almost a decade. So I'm just gonna set up a HostGator ad, just like you could create an ad for L'Oreal Paris or Adidas or Apple, Amazon, or whoever you want to sponsor on your blog, or in other words, whoever sponsors you. So let's add a graphic, computer. Hopefully PicMonkey's a little faster today. We're going to search for HostGator just because I know I already have an image on my desktop. Hitting spacebar will preview the image, so it's kind of a cool way to save a little time. All right. Double click it and drop it in there. And this image wants to be a little bit blurry, so not going to cut it for today. All right, once you have your image on top of your background, you can center it using the grids from PicMonkey. Then you can change the background color by hitting background color. And if we want the color dropper here, or the eyedropper some people call it, you can choose colors inside your icon or your image to use for the background. So that's pretty cool. All right, and maybe like a nice red orange would do. I don't know. I'm bad with colors because I think everything looks good. And once you have your image ready, you might want a border. Let's go to frames, simple edge, and reduce the thickness a little bit. And there you have a picture frame inset looking border. Okay, and we can just apply it. So we made our first advertisement image using PicMonkey, super cool. And now we're gonna download it. And download. All right, we'll just call this one HostGator brand ad. And come back to WordPress. All right, and you're gonna realize you don't have an add media button in the appearance editor files. So it's really useful to have a new post open, which you don't actually use as a blog post. You just use as an editing canvas. So in this window, we can be in the text tab, add media, upload files, select files, open up our brand ad, and keep it full size. We're gonna align this one to center and then link it to a custom URL, which is gonna be hostgator.com. I'll probably put my link in there to hostgator.com and insert in a post. All right, now we can just copy the HTML munch we just made and paste that in here where we used to have our search box and update. And let's see what we made. If we go to our blog, it's just gonna save this blog post as a no title draft, and that's fine, we can work in there later. And wow, we made ourselves an ad and it's right on top of the search form. So we have to go back. And what we should do here, guys, is remove more of the code and preserve more of it. So I'm gonna actually preserve it as was. Let's go ahead and put that input box back in here as we found it and get rid of our HostGator ad, move it down below. Then I'm gonna copy this entire form area and preserve it in its entirety so we can hack it up more now. Okay, now we can put our HostGator ad in a larger part. So we'll put it in the middle and we're gonna get rid of the form part and we're gonna get rid of the form and also get rid of the button. Now it's just a div which will inherit the style that the theme has on that div. And beautiful, even our social media icons went up. How cool is that? So it looks like we just need a little more space and then we're good to go. Let's give ourselves some space, which you can always add with a line break, which is an open alligator, br/close gator. We can just do a few of those. And now we can just align the image to the right. I was wrong to align to the center. And that is our puppy Cova the Cavapoo who just wants to get in the bedroom. Refresh. Okay, I don't know why it didn't align to the right. How about align none? Awesome, and it looks like we just have to float that ad a little bit, and then we're good to go. Awesome, great job, guys. And with your newfound skills from creating our custom floated footer, you can come back to your theme editor here and add a little style equals float to the right onto the div. So you can have a class and a style in there and update it. And now you'll be able to move that ad at least. I think what you'll want for the best results is a skinny Google AdSense ad or to use the skills and the code from our button we made, maybe a slightly different color button up here in your header. So if you wanted that AdSense ad, thankfully we still have AdSense open. We can come over here and go to our display ads. Now we'll grab the horizontal one and we want to make this one fixed so we can make the ad really skinny, like height 50, talking that skinny. Great, and that's too wide at 728, so let's try something more like 300. Thankfully Google has ads for every size you might want, and we'll click create. Oh, but that name is really important. We'll call it something cute like skinny header ad and now create. All right, now we'll grab the code snippet from HTML And because we set up our little div class here perfectly where the search bar used to be, we can just delete this HostGator ad and paste the Google AdSense ad and update file. Now it should look a little bit more neat and tidy up here. Perfect. Let's try to just get rid of that float right because it's floating too much to the right. Delete the quote. And that looks a little better. So once the ad feels like appearing, we'll have an ad people can click in your sidebar and an ad that can get views in your header. And I'm going to try to right click inspect element just to be super detailed on that background image. So why is the search box still there? Something's in there. And what we find using the HTML for search box on the left and the CSS inspector on the right is that the search box widget has a background color. It's given that color just so it looks like a search box even without the functionality that we removed. So we want to get rid of that background color, and to make sure the background color is gone, let's copy the CSS. And now we'll port it back over to our customize window, additional CSS, paste it in, open bracket, and what we want to write is just background color none, and publish. And don't worry, we logged out of that window, so we'll get back in with the refresh. Background color, I think none should do it, otherwise we'll have to look up the transparent color. So we still have the background color. Why don't we ask W3 or Google what the background color remove CSS is? And another great resource, Stack Overflow, tells us transparent and inherit are valid keywords on their own right, but none is not. So let's go back to customize and let's try transparent and publish. And we did it. Great job, guys. Next, I want to show you guys how to add an email subscription box in the sidebar. That's, of course, one of the features we saw on all of our popular blogs in the intro. Sidebar is where I've gotten most of my subscribers. Other than that, I'd say a subscription box in the footer. And other than that, if you create a custom subscription header area, where it's just like you folding your arms and the whole point of your blog is to drive people's emails into that little form, that can be good too. But like I said, most of mine have come from the sidebar or the footer. So that's where we're gonna go. And when you join Aweber, which I'm gonna show you how to do right now, you can make as many forms as you want for their same extremely low price. All right, Aweber is where I built all my subscribers initially. Then I moved to Constant Contact and I regret it. So honestly, Aweber is the place to go. And I'm gonna be migrating back there. So we're gonna have a really good time starting at Aweber together and seeing what new features they've created since I started there way back in 2011. Okay, so for yourself guys, you're just gonna be on this page at Aweber. Let's see also if I have a discount link for you guys like usual, like we did at HostGator and we do for WordPress themes. If we go to dearblogger.org/Aweber, page not found, how about gregnarayan.com/Aweber, nothing. So I'll have to set one of those up for you guys, and of course it'll be in the description beneath the video. I'm not gonna leave you hanging. When you get to Aweber, you're gonna be on a landing page like this with the cool email marketing expert pointing at the form here, and you're just gonna need to pop in your first name, last name, and then email and get started for free. And the way Aweber works is it's free to start. Let's hit the pricing and see what that really means. So what it is Aweber is now free. That's super cool. It's not an incredibly low price, it's an incredibly no price. Free, $0 a month, upgrade anytime. You get up to 500 subscribers, one email list, one landing page, one automation. You're not gonna have to worry too much about the rest of this, although super cool is the basic templates. So whether you have like a car shop or a coffee shop or you're doing plants or just like cool events around your town and you need an email newsletter, after you start a blog, these templates will fit those sort of themes. Aweber used to cost $9 a month or $8 a month or like a $1 2-week trial, but they made it free, so it's even better, and it's a great time to become an email marketer. So let's jump right in and get started with free. All right, you're gonna go ahead and fill out your first name, last name, email address, and start growing today. And before you do so, just make sure to check the link in the description. I'll see if there's any better offers, or at the very least, you can give me credit for sending you over to Aweber at no cost to you. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and sign in the other way though. All right, and because like I said, I left Aweber to try Constant Contact because they actually recruited me. Really sweet, chill guys that ran a great business recruited me to do Constant Contact, but then things didn't work out. So I left Constant Contact and now we're coming back to Aweber, but they lost my initial login email, so I have to create a fresh account with you guys. So that should be fun. Let's get started with free. And we're gonna pop in our info, and maybe they'll remember me, maybe not. Start growing today. And if you have a company email already, like your name at yourblog.com, go ahead and put that in instead. All right, we've created an account at Aweber. Awesome. And step 1 is done. Step 2, check your email and set up your password. So let's go to our email. Aweber account is ready, and click Get Started. And it already feels so good to be back at Aweber. Just the way they do things, it's super quick confirmation. I love their logo. I love how easy their forms are. It all feels really at home. So let's pop in our email one more time, and a password, and save it. And I will be importing my 4,000 or so contacts, possibly you, into Aweber soon. Like, I'm getting chills. So excited to show you Aweber. It's been such a journey, and I'm so excited to be back. So here we go. We're gonna hop over to free, although Lite and Plus also really good. You know, you can remove Aweber branding. That might be something that you need to do. In our case, I'm gonna recommend Aweber, so I don't mind having their branding on my blog because I'll probably write blog posts about them. All right, so our company is called Greg Narayan's Company. It actually sounds pretty cool, but I would put in your company's name. So in my case, I'm just gonna call it Dear Blogger because we're gonna start using all the Dear Blogger family at Aweber. And then website or social profile. So we're gonna set up my .com here, and this should be your .com you put in. We're just ramping up the education arm of Dear Blogger, where we do live classes and of course YouTube videos, which you're here for. And YouTube's definitely been the best way to go. But we're going to start with live classes and also do custom help. If you need things built, just click on one of these buttons and our team will do it for you. So yeah, pop in the domain name you want. And I believe education's a category. We are educators. You and I are educators because you are about to create a blog newsletter and educate people through the newsletter. So yes, we understand the basics, and continue. All right, you just need an address. It's like some random small law. The rest should populate. Continue. And I'm gonna import a bunch of subscribers, but in your case, if you are just getting started, that's fine. I'm gonna move from Constant Contact, and they might actually want me to do the migrate now, but we'll skip that so that you can focus on building your list. All right, so you can check as many as you want there. And continue. And we use WordPress, and continue. All right, my friends, and here we are in Aweber. Welcome, welcome. So what we're gonna do, there's a migration service we're gonna do later, and now we're gonna publish some sign up stuff. We're gonna keep some of these steps here. We don't need to skip them, but if you wanna get rid of them, then skip them. And we're gonna head to pages and forms. All right, and there's a default sign up page. You can click that and see what it looks like. So it looks like this at Aweber. You can make things bigger or smaller to fit your sidebar, for example. You can move them by clicking on that little icon for the plus sign and moving things up and down. You can add all of these different widgets on the left, like social, super cool. And you can preview and install it. In our case, we're gonna go ahead with a new form. So let's go back to Aweber. And it saves your changes dynamically, so that's pretty cool. And in our community, we like making things from scratch. It's a little more work, but the result is a lot more high quality. And then you know how to do everything. That's how we roll. So let's delete the sign up page. Delete it. There's also sign up forms. Let's try that. Create a sign up form for my website. And what forms do is just live on pages, whereas a landing page is like its own separate big page that goes on WordPress. I like forms because you can just drop them in anywhere, like in the sidebar. So we're gonna go with the Aweber sign up forms. And this is where I began like 10 or 11 years ago at Aweber. So let's do it, guys. You can go to popular, and the forms that people like a lot will come in. And when you load them, that will load automatically right here in your editor. So this is obviously going to be totally up to you. You want a form that totally matches your blog and your blog's journey. I do like a big submit button. I do like the mountains. I do like a little gradient. So that one, in the journey one, is a contender. Let's go to new. Okay, how about corporate? Maybe you are a corporation. And it's going to load all the corporate options, like this guy from the HR department smiling at us like he wants to come over and pick us up or something. And simple ones like mail icon, that's like one of the OG forms from the early 2000s. So it's totally up to you if you want your look to be modern and fresh, or just simple and totally straightforward. All right, and when we go back with that button, there are so many forms. So this is why Aweber really shines. Food and wine, you got 94 food and wine forms. So if you have a food and wine blog, you really can't miss in terms of signing people up. In terms of signing people up to your list. All right, so in food and wine, there's pizzeria, there's Lucky Cat. That's one of the ones I remember from back in the day. Barbecue, foodie, passion, the list goes on and on and on. Really great for educational websites you might make for your school or your church or your local business as well. Let's see what WordPress involves, because we are obviously WordPressers. Pretty cool. Okay, so maybe they're not like exactly WordPress themed, just what Aweber thought we might like. And because I'm ready with my popular one, I'm gonna go to Journey and load template. Okay, so let's do it, guys. So the first thing you should have is the name box. And when you click name, you can choose first name, last name, and you can choose the title of it. So you can write like your name there, for example, and that will be the title of the form. Now click show in options, and we can have the value say start typing, for example. Or one really cool option I like is name here, and then not name on the label, so the form gets a little thinner. Let's keep it required, and then let's also go to email, and we're going to get rid of the label and make the email in the value and save it. All right, cool. Now we can have a little text here that just talks about what your email list is. Automatically we have a header. All right, so you get the basic WordPress editor just like we have in our post and page editor. And I'm going to write really whatever you think of, or whatever you see on other blog forms that you think works well and grows their list. Subscribe to our monthly newsletter. Instantly send you our free ebook download. So a couple tips that have worked time and time again for me and plenty of other email marketers. Mention how frequent you send things in whatever way you want, or you could just write in parentheses like we won't send often, or we hate spam, or very infrequently, or we don't send junk, whatever. And then mention what someone gets. So a little incentive, a little carrot to get the people to drop their email in. If you have an image of your ebook, this would be a place to put it. I'm also gonna center this, or you could just put the title of the ebook, like, and I'm gonna call our ebook How to Start a Blog That Makes $500 per month the right way. All right, and save field. Let's pop in one more header just by clicking there. Oops. Let's add one more text field, and that'll come in down below. And we're gonna call this one subscribe. This will be a header for us, so let's bring the font size up, center it and bold, and save it. And now let's drag this one to the top. And it looks like our header area has to stay as the header. So we're actually gonna put subscribe in this header box. And now we don't need this subscribe below it. And beautiful. Looking super professional, like an email subscription form you'd see on HubSpot, HuffPost, TechCrunch, something like that. For our submit button, you have full customization. You can say something more encouraging, like I'm in, for example. Works for a lot of bloggers, and save it. And then the email privacy is automatically linked right there. So that is going to be a link we can click and check out. And then powered by Aweber email marketing is a great place to recommend Aweber. You can change that link from Aweber. If you remove it, that'll just be gone. And then you can always check the powered by to get it back. Or what I like doing, and what you should do too, if you start doing some affiliate marketing and advertising on your blog, is you're going to remove that powered by Aweber and then add a new text and just write powered by Aweber email marketing, and then create a guide on your blog on how to start an email list with Aweber like I have. Pop the link on the text right there, so when someone clicks it, they don't just go to Aweber, they go to your guide, and then they can click your affiliate link and go to Aweber, and they'll already know how to use it from your guide, and then they'll sign up and give you a little affiliate marketing credit. So in my case, I already have a guide on Dear Blogger and how to use Aweber, so that's really easy to find. I can just search it. There's Aweber, how to earn $100 as an affiliate. So really cool, some old images from back in the day and a little proof there. That was actually a check we got from Aweber. Boy, that is old school. From 1/27/2015, we'd send a few people, they send us an email to say thanks and paid us $104. So you can do it too, and that's nothing compared to what you can earn. Pretty nice. Oh, I remember that couch. Love that pattern. And those glasses. In any case, just a little inspiration for you guys. Let's copy this link and go back to Aweber. We're going to pop that on our anchor text here. Paste in the link and make it open in a new window. Funny little old school link editor here, but still works great. Still works for a lot of people who make a lot of money with Aweber. Save it, and now our form is good to go. When you're ready to insert your form, just save it. It should save dynamically, but it doesn't hurt to click save. Go to step 2. We're going to name this one and call it subscribe form. You can put the date on there if you want. All right, and then you have a thank you page, which comes up after someone subscribes, or you can have a custom URL, or they can stay on the current page. So what you should do is custom URL and then create a page on your blog that's like yourblog.com/thank you. Send people to that page after they subscribed. They already want to join your newsletter and your programs, for example. So go ahead and upsell people on the next steps and what else they can do to get involved with your blog. I haven't made that page yet though, so I'm just going to go with the home page, but that will be in the works, and you need to get that in the works too because it's a great strategy. Okay, so here we go. All right, already subscribed, that's fine, basic version. Save it. Go to step 3. Oh, I remember this stuff from Aweber. It's so fun. So you can use your form as a landing page. They'll just create a page for you, or I'll install my form, which is what I always do. They give you the code and they suggest to use a web developer or designer, but we know code. You've done plenty of code in this tutorial already, and you've done great with it because you made it this far. You know your HTML and CSS, and that means you know that you can take this Aweber code, and you don't need to even put it between the body tags of our site. We can just put it in the sidebar. So we're going to use JavaScript. If you use HTML, it's going to be a lot more. But then you can actually do CSS if you want and change individual, components of the form. JavaScript's quicker though. It's what we've been doing for years. So let's go back to I Love Bloggers and log it in again. All right. And we're going to go to our appearance, widgets. We're going to grab a new text widget, add that to the sidebar, paste in our Aweber code, and we're going to write join our email list as a header. Pull it to the top because that's where it belongs. Make sure to save it. Gotta save it. And we put that in the visual tab, so it's going to render funny. We need to go to the text tab and delete it and paste it in, so there's no funny code around our beautiful code. Now save it back to the blog, and voila, you have your own awesome looking email subscription form. You did it. If you need to change anything in the form, like less text or this button looks wonky, just go back to Aweber, to the sign up form generator, and go to the design tab, and then we can do things like move different parts of the form. We can widen it, save it, or like shrink it maybe. I'm not sure why that button doesn't want to look good. And every time you save it on Aweber, because they have dynamic JavaScript, the changes will show up on your blog automatically. We just got to fix that button. All right, so that button says I'm in. Why are you not big enough button? Can go left, right, or middle. Can make the font smaller. Refresh. Okay guys, and because that button isn't working, we're gonna have to go to our raw HTML version and we're gonna give it a little button work here. I'm gonna hit Command Find for button. It's gonna show us the button container has a width section. We just need it to have a height also of, let's say, 20 pixels. Semicolon, and now we're gonna copy all the HTML and put that in WordPress in this little join our email list widget. And that will give us more control over the button height. So it really helps that you have that skill on how to add and edit a little bit of HTML because it comes in handy. That button container needs to be a little bigger. How about 30? Is that going to do it? Save it. And that got a little bigger. Okay, 30 is not enough. Aweber is going to need a little more code because it interprets those pixels as nice and small. And beautiful, we did it. We just had to add a little custom CSS to our Aweber HTML code. And now I think I like our form even more because we feel more connected with how it works. Next, I just want to make our logo a little bit bigger so it fills more of that header blank space. To make our logo bigger, we can go to Customize, and where we have the additional CSS, remember we made the site logo image have a max width of 50%, so it's only maxed out at half the screen width. We can probably raise that up a little bit though, and not upset our social icons or our advertisement to be. Let's try a nice even 75% and publish it. X out to see your site, and beautiful. Now that you're comfortable using some custom CSS to increase the size of things on your site, you'll never have to worry again about a logo being too small. At the same time, why don't we get rid of some of that clear space on the header so it's right beneath our logo, and I guess it's not clear, it's got that heathery background. If we inspect that, we can see our header content has some margin off to the right using the 3 margin shortcode, which is for the top, for the right and left, and for the bottom if there's 3 margins in the margin shortcode. So we're gonna change that. We're not gonna remove it entirely, like unchecking it might do. And unchecking it, by the way, doesn't remove it on other people's sites. It just changes how it looks on your screen. So to remove that, we're gonna go and copy the header content CSS selector. And again, come back to our editor. Joey, no barking. Appearance. Customize. Additional CSS and add in another one. And you can add beneath or above. That's totally up to you. Just keep in mind, if you add beneath your CSS like I'm doing here, any CSS down here, if it applies to the same selector above, the stuff below will override the stuff above. In this case, these are all unique selectors, so they don't conflict with each other. Okay, we're gonna go with margin bottom 0 pixels, super specific. And you can see that changes right away, right? You can see that with the 0. Cool. And publish, and now our logo looks a little bit skinnier. Okay guys, next up, let's clean up some of the parts of our blog that we just are sick of. I'm sick of this title, and I'm gonna open the post and edit it. So I want the future of blogging to say something a little more catchy instead, and less like, you know, la-di-da-di-da, everything's puppies and rainbows, because it's not always, and we want to grab people's attention a little bit more. So let's say, welcome to the future of blogging. It's not what you might expect. Would be good. Or you could say, welcome to the future of blogging. The only post you need moving forward. Or we could say, the only post you'll ever need. So that's pretty epic. It's probably maxing out as much attention as we can get here. And it kind of makes sense because along with this post, this blog here is the only one you'll ever need if you make it and keep it running and make it awesome until you make your second blog. Okay, that post looks better now. We have the only post you'll ever need, ultimate guide to bloggers, and welcome to my blog. Cool. And I just think like we might want to include steps to start a blog, 5 easy steps to start. And I just think we might want to like include 5 easy steps to follow to start a blog if this is going to be our first header banner. So I'm going to go to where we have that post in welcome to my blog and edit the post. And I'm going to write out just the 5 steps that we did here together way back. It already seems like so long ago. I'm going to go to visual and then write out the 5 steps to start a blog are, drumroll, 1, choose an idea that intersects your passions and the world's greatest needs. Done, right? We already did that. Second one, we're gonna do choose a domain name. Gotta love it. We got one. You got one now too. We're cruising. Step 3, we did register some affordable web hosting. You did that too. We're now part of the HostGator family and proud of it. And number 4, install WordPress and create content for free, because WordPress is free and the content is free, as we saw. The theme is free and amazing once we use WordPress.org and make that small commitment to join other pro bloggers. Amazing. And step 5 is launch your blog to the world. That's the only step we haven't done, and we're getting even closer to doing it. We're gonna do it at the end of the video, so get ready. All right, now this post is what it says it is, and we can update it. Okay, and now I feel more comfortable with the content on our blog, which you always should. Getting towards the end here, guys, I want to show you how to make a as featured on section, and that typically goes in the middle of your blog, right beneath the header content. So how do we put that between our slider and our blog posts? Well, we can go to our dashboard, and we can go to Appearance Editor, and what we're going to do is go to the footer, and we're going to grab the code we already wrote. which is this huge 900 pixel wide div, including the last div and the clear fix. Just copy that. Now come back to your theme file editor. And from the theme file editor homepage here, let's go to the header because we're so good at editing our header clearly. In the header file, we just need to get a general idea of what these words mean. That'll help you over time so much in WordPress. For example, the masthead is going to be the top part of your blog where masthead things go, like logos, like titles, like slogans. Going down, the wrapper is going to be what your whole blog content is surrounded by. The wrapper is like wrapping the homepage in cellophane. Beneath the wrapper, you have header content, which is things like nav menu, stuff like that. And then beneath that, you generally have some content at the bottom. And the content could contain wrapper. It's not all set in stone. And these things don't apply to every theme, but generally the words do hold true. So there's above and below, and then down here there's more primary, which is a content area. That's a familiar word. Without rambling too much, let me just tell you that right above the primary is where we want things to go if we want them to go in between here. Right above the primary would be right above this line right here. And that means that the section containing your blog post is the primary. So let's pop in our awesome 900 pixel wide set of divs right here, right above div ID equals primary. All right, and then let's update it and check it out. And we've created a new section and we're using work we already did, which we love. Now all we need to do is go ahead and we're going to delete what's inside these already because we don't need the YouTube video anymore. Unless you want another video there on your homepage, that's pretty cool. You could have a video there or one in the middle. Play around, of course, to your heart's content. We're going to delete that blogger's blueprint and we're going to delete our button. And then we're going to make the width of all of them a nice even 250. All right, they're all gonna have a little margin and a little float left. That's okay for now because these are just blank white spaces now. All right, awesome, nothing inside. Let's go ahead and put in some images. So to create as featured on images, you're gonna wanna do it sort of like Backlinko does. Let's check out Backlinko, not that blog, although Babaklino is a WordPress blog. We want Backlinko blog. So on Backlinko, Brian comes in super clean with the email address in the top area. You really can't resist putting in your email. You just got to know what happens, and that's a great tactic to gather subscribers. But then below it is the place we want to focus on. We want to focus on this. Super simple, super clean. Brian's been featured on 4 different publications, which we've all heard of. How do we set something up like this? Well, they're just logos going to that brand. And you can click them maybe if the person has linked their content there or their feature, but in Brian's case, we just trust them. So let's go ahead and get some logos of where we've been featured, and I'll show you how this works. First up, we're going to open up PigMonkey because that's where we're going to edit our logos. And now I'm going to get the logo to HuffPost. All right, let's go to the images. And let's get a logo from Wikipedia if we can because they don't mind about copyright stuff, and Wikipedia is free to use. We're going to save that image as and call it HuffPost logo and save it and save it. Okay, let's do 3 more just like Brian did for 4 total. I'm going to grab Pro Blogger, which you know we love. And I'm going to grab their first logo again because that's usually the most high quality, and if we're lucky, it's the transparent one with that checkered background, so there's no colors getting in our way. And if you have any concerns about copyright on a logo, you should definitely ask the creator of that website. In most cases, because we're linking back to them, they won't mind. We're actually doing them a favor. I'm also going to grab Pick the Brain logo because we wrote for them. Love them very much. Don't love that they didn't do backlinks to our work and they no-follow their links, but hey, they got to keep their traffic, and it was still an awesome, inspiring blog to write for. Okay, so Pick the Brain is a logo. There's the logo. We're going to right-click and save image as. All right, and then last but not least, we have written for a lot of blogs that are worth mentioning, but the one that comes to my mind today is USA Today. So it's pretty cool. We got a feature on their blog, and I'm gonna go with whatever logo they're using now. So let's see where our post is on the internet. And sometimes posts are taken down over time. That's just how it is. So let's go instead with Social Media Explorer. That was a cool feature. And I'm gonna right click, save this image from Dear Blogger just to save time. If you want to make an as seen on featured area like we did on Dear Blogger, where they move and kind of tilt back and forth like little panels of wood or logs as you scroll, let me know in the comments, and if I feel like it, and if I like you enough, I'll explain how one by one. Just kidding. I'm sure I will. Alright, so here we go. We got to be in PicMonkey to do one of these. Let's create new, and we're going to go from computer. And what you do is just do the logo itself, like pick the brain. And then we're gonna grayscale the logo so the colors of the different logos don't clash on your homepage and they look consistent. To grayscale it, just go to the colors and then take the saturation all the way down. And that will grayscale the logo. Might have some blacks, might have some whites, might have some grays. Now just save it and download. Go with the high quality JPG, why not? We're gonna call this one Pick the Brain Logo Grayscale and save it. Okay, now that we know that process, we can go to our site and start uploading the logos. Let's go to a new post because we like working in a canvas that is a new post. And we're gonna add media, upload files, and while we're at it, I'm gonna upload some other grayed out logos, such as Social Media Explorer. And on Dear Blogger, I'm gonna grab Pro Blogger, and I'm just gonna grab, we're gonna do HuffPost, and that means we gotta grayscale that one quick. Come back over here to open a new file in PicMonkey, just create new and computer it and go over what you're making here. All right, HuffPost logo. And again, the process is just to be on the edits panel, click colors, and drag your saturation all the way down to nothing and apply. And download. All right, awesome. Okay, now in post, let's go ahead and upload two more logos. We got the HuffPost and we got the Pro Blogger. Select files, Pro Blogger, great. You can check mark all the logos at once and then insert them all into the post. All right, cool, there they are. So HuffPost is the only one we're definitely gonna want smaller. And you can just drag that inwards using the corner in WordPress. Awesome. Let's get our logos sort of the same size, within reason. And that's pretty good. If you want, you can make them all the exact same width. In the text tab, just change the width on the images. And they're all stacked, so I'm gonna space them out so the images are a little easier to see, these little HTML munches. Fantastic. So now all we want to do, guys, is just put a link on each of these images and then drop them into our div style widths over here. Let's add 4 links onto our 4 featured on logos so we can create some code and then copy it across the other logos. It's just open alligator ahref equals quote quote close alligator bracket and then put a closing a at the end. Then we're going to copy the closing A. Don't want to recreate the wheel here. And we're going to copy the opening A and paste it at the front of each image HTML. Awesome. And of course I forgot the target equals underscore blank. Sorry about that. And that will just open the link in a new window. Put that after the closing quotation marks at the head in the ahref section. Now let's get our links. So to keep ourselves honest here and show accountability, we wrote for each of these blogs. We're not just putting up logos. Although if you're just getting started and you like really wish you were featured by Fortune or Forbes or something, then I don't have a problem with you putting up a logo to them and being like, hey, I was featured on here, or I will be featured on there someday. Sometimes you gotta fake it till you make it. Although maybe I'd stay away from Fortune because they've been featuring some sketchy people. So we're gonna go with Pro Blogger and then look up my name. Keeping ourselves honest here, and I have a few posts with them. So here's one, and that's gonna go in the bottom quotation marks because that's the Pro Blogger logo. All right, and then we need my HuffPost post talking about how to get free website help. What else? And there we are. Cool. That worked pretty good to direct some website beginners to the blog, which was our goal, and then we could help them and everyone was happy. All right, and now we're gonna need pick the brain, Greg Narayan. You know, it might not be live anymore, but we were there, so can't win them all. And then the last one is Social Media Explorer, and we're talking about posts that are from like 2013, 14, or 15. So sometimes these blogs just clean house and erase a lot of guest posts. I don't know why that would remove content and that would be a bad thing, but it can happen. So we don't have a post on these two now, but for the sake of the tutorial, let's just get these logos up. So let's copy all of them and we're gonna put them in our divs, and we're gonna put them one in each div, of course. So here's the first one in, and the second one below it, and then the third one down here in this div, and then we just have our Pro Blogger one, and I'm actually gonna have that one instead of the pick the brain. Okay, because they deleted our post, so forget about them. And now we have 3 of them, and the widths have to match, so 266 is gonna be more than 250. Let's make each one of these line up, so we can just change the image width if you need to like 240, and then make the height auto so it will be symmetric, and then we can like actually make the width of all of them 240 auto. And let's update and see how it looks. Let's get off this post here and go to our homepage, and we did it. Cool, guys. Now to center our logos, let's go ahead and make sure that this div width is the perfect width. So what we have is 900 across, 250 each for 750, and 20 on the right. So what we can do is get rid of the margin rights, each one of those. Okay, and then we can increase the widths of each section. So I'm gonna go for something like 280. And let's try that. All right. How about instead we go with an even 300? And that would be exactly 900 pixels divided by 3. Update and refresh. Perfect. Love it, guys. Now we have centered the 3 images, and we just need a header. So I'm going to come up here and beneath the widest div, which controls the whole section, but before the first floated div, let's write in H2 for header, and then we're just going to go with as featured on, or whatever you want to say is fine, and close the header and update. Refresh that, and there's as featured on. That will inherit the font of our blog page headers. So stuff like the title, we already like that font, so let's keep using it. We just want to give that header a style, which is text-align center. So you're really learning a lot of CSS here. You might not have thought this was a CSS tutorial, but why not add a little bonus there and teach you HTML and CSS? Skills for life, right? And perfect, we did it. Great job. If you want a little more space at the bottom, we can add that too. You can always just put that on the bottom div. You can just give that a little margin bottom of say 40 pixels and update. And if that doesn't work, that's okay. It's just because maybe the clear fix is wrong, but the clear fix looks great. So it's just because I misspelled margin. Going a little faster. All right, let's jack that up a little. How about 75? And perfect. And of course, as you get more features, you can include more logos side by side by side by side, and everyone will be blown away. Know that you're social proof and someone to follow right out of the gates. Okay guys, and for the grand finale of our blogging tutorial here, I'm so excited you were able to start a blog, and I want to set you up with the SEO tools you'll need to, number one, know what blog post to write as you go forward in your first month of blogging, third month, you start making some revenue, start seeing what works. You want to know how to write blog posts that penetrate your niche and rank in the top of Google and don't waste your time. So number one, what post to write, and number two, strategies to get that post once you know it's good, it's the perfect review post for your niche. For example, how to rank that higher and higher in Google through methodical strategic efforts that you do every day, like adjusting the content or adding a new section or tweaking the keywords or making backlinks. That's where SEMrush comes in. All right, guys, so to get to SEMrush and begin by just entering in your domain name of your blog here, you're going to want to type in gregnarayan.com, not gregorynarayan.com, although we run that site too, /SEMrush and hit enter. And that'll take you right here. You can pop in your blog's new URL that you got for free from HostGator and click start now, and you'll create an account, and that'll set you up with the standard free trial at SEMrush where you get limited access to their tools and can do a few searches for your blog's benefit. But now guys, because we have an official partnership with SEMrush, you can get a 14-day free trial and a pro version of SEMrush for that whole time. So I don't know why you wouldn't want this offer instead. So our newest SEMrush offer can be found just by opening a browser tab again and entering gregnarayan.com /SEMrush, and then just entering the word pro in right after rush. Hit enter, and here we go to our official partnership page. On this page, guys, you can learn about what's inside SEMrush and the tools that I use every day to optimize my blogs. You can see all the different professionals that use the SEMrush tools and get their reviews from first-hand accounts. I mean, overall organic traffic up 75%. That'll certainly pay dividends in terms of advertising clicks and offers through your blog. So in the interest of time, let's go ahead and jump into their 14-day free pro trial. As we can see, they're also used by the likes of Nike, Procter & Gamble, IBM, Walmart, even Tesla. Kind of funny, we actually own all those stocks. We talk about those on our investing channel. Good brand to be partnered with. All right, so let's click 14-day free pro trial. And let's see where it takes us on our SEO adventure. So we're going to go ahead and enter in a new email password. So I'm going to go with greg@dearblogger.com and a password. And we'll create an account. And we'll get our verification code. Okay guys, and now you've either confirmed that link in your email, or in my case, I logged in using my existing SEMrush account. You'll be taken to the subscribing to Dear Blogger 14-day free pro trial plan. Pro trial is important because most people just get the normal plan. They don't get access to the key insights like organizing which pages of yours rank the best in Google. They don't get access to in-depth summaries of which keywords work and what your competitors are doing with them. You do with Pro, and I'm so excited to offer you that for free. It's important to remember some key purchase information over here though, which is that your trial is extended to 14 days. You can use all the SEO tools and get your blog post to rank in Google for free up until your first charge date. So for mine now, it'd be March 19th, and the first charge is gonna be just over $100. So if you don't wanna pay that after those 14 days, make sure to opt out. And it's easy to do that too, and I can show you. In any case, right now, it's important that we get started and try it out. So once you understand that, and you see that today's charge is $0, we're like, hooray, we can try it out for free. Just make yourself a mental note after like 10 or 11 days to review in your head whether you want to stick with it or not. I can tell you is from my experience, about 8 out of 10 bloggers do stick with it because they figure that charge right there is going to be something that blogger can make up through the SEO they get through different offers and ad clicks and affiliate marketing offers or guest posts, or just the business that keeps recurring as a result of using SEMrush. For example, if you have one affiliate product that sells for like $500 and you get a 20% coupon on that, all you're gonna need to do is sell at least 2 of those products per month through your blog to make up for this subscription cost and pocket some profit too. So we're gonna pop in some billing information so we can get our free trial going. I'm just gonna pop this in as I would at Apple or Uber or Lyft or wherever I put my credit card in, like Amazon. All right, our credit card's good to go. We're gonna click place the order in just a second, but I thought of one more example of how the price of SEMrush is totally worth it. So let's say you work at a day job, like 4 days a week, and you earn, let's say, $17 an hour. That's how much I was earning on my fun part-time job at Chuck and Don's pet store. So you work like 8-hour days at 17 an hour, or maybe more, because you should make more now with the way inflation is. That 1 day of work will cover SEMrush for the whole month. So as you work your day job, you're making money, you just need to allot 1 day's paycheck, and you probably get paid every 2 weeks, so it's like 14 days. So just 1 day of that to your SEMrush payment, and then that'll totally help your side hustle, which is blogging, every single evening and morning that you do it. And the quicker you have tools like this, the quicker you can get out of that day job, because you'll be earning so much more income and revenue and helping so many more people that you won't even need to care about the cost of anything or the hours you have to work. But for now, that's how you could look at it. So 1 day of work at an hourly job should easily cover the cost of SEMrush and make all the other work you do more powerful. Okay, so here we are. We're excited to place our order. And again, you get 14 days free, so you don't have to worry about any of that. Let's place it. We're going to be charged 0.00. All right, payment successful. Awesome. We're going to start using SEMrush. We're not going to wait 10 minutes. And here we are. Welcome to your new free pro dashboards. All right, great guys. So the first thing you want to do in SEMrush is just hit organic research. We're going to be spending a lot of our time there, or we'll also be in keyword overview. And the key to tools like SEMrush that are so powerful and so cool looking at first isn't to try to memorize like every different section and learn every section, because you'll get overwhelmed. What you want to do, and what's totally acceptable and okay to do, is just figure out how it works for you. Figure out a couple little sections that you go to often and get data like keywords and see how you're ranking and get a little boost of serotonin, because you're happy. And then figure those things out and then branch off and expand from there. So the first place we're going to figure out is organic research. From organic research, I want you to just drop in the URL of your blog, and ours would be ilovebloggers.com. But because I've been doing SEO for a bit longer and have more keywords going on dearblogger.org, that's what we're going to enter in. So we're going to copy this link. So we're going to copy this URL and come back to SEMrush. Paste that in the bar at the top of organic research up here, or maybe that middle of the screen bar, same thing. And hit search. All right, great. So from this organic research page, if you have top keywords here, that will mean you have some keywords working because you published a few posts and Google has examined your blog. From here, we're going to find low-hanging fruit, and that's part 1 of SEM research, finding low-hanging fruit. What that means is keywords you're already ranking for because you've just written stuff and you've done a good job as a blogger creating organic, helpful content, but those keywords could rank higher. So they're already kind of dangling down. Google's already created some trees, some nice beautiful leaves around those keywords for you, and you just need to pluck them and pull them closer and make those, and really savor the fruits of those keywords. So let's come down here and click View Organic Keywords. We can see I have things like Camtasia coupon, Divi, host pop-up, because we review Camtasia and different web hosts. All right, and the first thing you'll notice is the keyword, which is the exact word someone would search in Google to get to us. And the next part I want you to see is, let's look at something like Bluehost blog hosting and click on positions. Right, that'll rank it to the end of our list, and let's click it again to rank it to the front of the list. We can see within the keyword rankings, we have some ranking 9, 14, 17, and then it just gets a little bit worse from there. To specifically see the top 2 to 20 pages in Google, which would be anything but the first ranking and the next 2 pages, go to positions and click custom range 2 to 20. And that's what I like for low-hanging fruit. Okay, we can see we'd want to work on the Divi 20% off coupon, We want to work on GoDaddy WordPress for 1 year, but something like John Chow below deck, I'm not even sure how it got there. And definitely Divi theme discount, because people buy a Divi theme every day, and we want our blog to be a part of that discount process. We offer a much better discount than the rest of the internet often does, and we offer actual help on how to build a WordPress website with Divi. That's great. As a blogger, that's how you make money. You insert your own knowledge in between someone's how-to question and the end result, help them do it, give them a coupon or a link or a product they buy, and everyone's happy. So from this data, I would know that the next logical blog posts I might want to write are things on Divi theme discount, GoDaddy's WordPress $1 coupon, and maybe even the Divi 20% off or Divi 80-day compliance, another hot topic. If you click on KD, you can also rank these keywords in terms of how easy they are compared to the competition. How much competition is there to rank in Google for these keywords? And you can hit something like very easy and apply. So not a lot of our keywords are very easy except for the John Chow keyword. Let's try easy. And you can see they'll take you all the way up to possible. You really want to maximize your efforts as an SEO at first, because although someday you want to rank for every popular keyword, at the moment your time is limited. You have to focus on what's profitable and has low competition. So part 2 of analyzing SEMrush is going to be to go to the keyword overview. Here we can enter 1 to 100 keywords separated by commas, things that you think might be popular around your niche, or maybe specific keywords you want to rank for. So let's try one like Divi theme discount and hit search. The beautiful thing about keyword overview is it shows you not only different related keywords, but it shows you down below competitors who are ranking for this keyword. And we want to look at our competitors. You'll notice on SEMrush, they put their competitive research even ahead of the keyword research, which means they really position their tools to help you compete with other bloggers. So down here, we can see other sites that rank for this keyword. So Elegant Themes, of course, does. They created Divi, but we want to compete with Demand Sage, WPX, Allright, WebMe Tools, etc. So what we can do next is keep this window open and open up the keyword gap with a right click in a new tab. From here, I'm just going to copy our blog URL as the root domain. There we go, and then we're going to add up to 3 competitors. We can grab the other competitors who are ranking for this keyword. And how about Creative Bin, just because that sounds like a cool site we might look up to. All right, and let's hit compare. You can see U is the blue, and the rest are our competitors. What this expanded research tells us is the surrounding keywords similar to our keyword of choice that these blogs are ranking for. As we can see from this blue circle, our position in organic search is 54 or 28 or 9 compared to Demand Sage that has much higher rankings around these keywords. Like they're number 3 for Divi discount code, number 2 for Divi coupon code, and number 1 for Divi 20 off. Wow, they must be making a ton of revenue because the cluster of search clicks around the top 1 to 5 in Google is way higher, obviously, than in the top 50. We can see even for other sites like WPX and Creative Bin, they're ranking well for things like Elegant Themes discount at number 3, Elegant Themes coupon code at number 4, as compared to ours at 21 and 34. So while we do have an article physically in Google that's in the 21st or 34th position, we want that article jumping up. That means I better go log into that article and start optimizing it by repositioning the content, maybe tweaking the title and the headers, or even building some backlinks to the article. So now that we know how to find organic keywords that are already on your blog, aka low-hanging fruits, and we know how to analyze certain keywords we like against the competition, part 3 is going to be to get yourself a site audit. Down here on Site Audit, which you may have heard of on SEMrush, they'll give you a complete score with lots of metrics you can check every week or every day even, or how often you blog. So we're popping our URL into the site audit, and it already knows us. We're going to limit the check pages to 100, and crawl source is definitely going to be our website. and let's start the site audit. And cross our fingers that we get a decent audit, we don't fail. And as you can see, SEMRush takes its time to make sure it does a good job. They've only crawled 2 out of 100 pages now, or 3. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a snack and head on back, and we'll look at what the audit tells us. All right, guys, and for our finale, I'll leave you with our fresh site audit right here. My blog clearly has a lot going on. It has 72% health. That's only about a C. 585 errors, crawlability is 86%, but at least 95% of the site was searchable on the secure HTTPS, and we have a lot of internal linking going on. When you look at these numbers from SEMRush, don't look at them as a problem, see an opportunity. The numbers just mean there's a lot to work on, and the more you chip away at them, the more not just one page or one post, but your whole blog site will rank more organically in Google. And then you'll see the results on your Google Analytics and on your offers and just generally in people commenting and liking and stuff. Let me know any questions you have on SEMRush. Like I said, I've been using it for several years now. I don't think I could have gotten as far as I was in blogging with guest posting and with learning how to rank certain blog posts that were doing well even better and create more of those posts and manipulate my time to do the right things without the tools SEMRush offers. So I really wish I had it on day one, and now you do. I'm gonna drop you off on our blog here. I'm so excited that we made this together. Well, we made this one together over the past 14 years or so. I'm so excited we made our I Love Bloggers blog together. There we are. And now you have your own blog. You've built it all yourself. You have a logo, social icons in the header, image slider, you have the ads featured on section. These ads will show up in time because we did Google AdSense the right way, and we might have to go on a separate video series on the trials and tribulations of getting you into AdSense, because I get a ton of questions via email on that every day. There's just a lot of people applying. It's not like it was like 14 years ago and super easy, but it is possible if you just persist, keep tweeting at AdSense, keep emailing them, keep reminding them about your blog, because inevitably there is someone on the other end accepting blogs, and when you get in, you're gonna be amazed at how much money you can make from those clicks and views. So excited for you. You have as many blog posts as you want. There's no limit. They'll stack beautifully on your homepage and show off important things like a featured image, comments, a date, things that other blogs people make on YouTube don't show off. Just total no-brainers. You've got to show off this stuff. You have your own email subscription box from Aweber, Facebook like box, of course the search feature, and you know the custom HTML skills to go ahead and build a website from scratch, because you know how to float things like a custom footer and as featured on and things in your header. And that's all a blog or a website really is. It's just a bunch of cool stuff floated together with HTML, CSS, and WordPress code. And as you get even stronger in WordPress, you're gonna see you can build almost any web page you see out there. How cool is that? So guys, go out and do better things with the blogosphere than people are doing right now. Make it a better place. Remember to help, then ask for an offer from your fans, and you'll both be happy. You'll wonder not why people are not signing up, because they will be. You just gotta make sure to deliver about 80% of the time and ask about 20% of the time with the 80-20 rule. That's a whole other topic though, so I wanna leave you with your blogs. Go off and enjoy yourselves. I'm Narayan. Make sure to subscribe if you haven't already, and look out for us in the next video for more blog tips. Okay, later guys. Oh, and yes guys, this can be your cat's or puppy's one shot at fame. Believe me. Come on guys, do something famous.